I want to be very clear. I'm a one-man show here, and I was taking the week off. I am over moto at the moment, and yeah, I will return and continue once my passion is back. As of right now, the community is in uproar about stupid shit, and this is all about Glen Helen and what Davey Coombs said on Gypsy Tales podcast. And I'm intertwined in it because of effing Cooksey and what we had that is no longer there. That whole scenario was I called him out for being negative. He didn't like it, and it just went sideways. You know, I can do a good job on my own to be negative, and I do not want to be negative anymore. All right. It brings nothing but disaster into everyone's life. And the consensus that I am kissing the sports ass, everyone's ass, because, you know, I want to fit in is complete and utter horseshit. Just gonna say it. I'm a passionate person about this stuff. I do it my own effing way, and I would rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I am not. Okay? And I decided it's better for myself and my family to grow the F up and realize that my perspective on things need to change. I don't want to be a heartless individual anymore because of situations that happened in my past. I'm not going to go through them because I have before, and it shaped into the individual that I am now. And I understand that being gentle and kind is way more productive than it is to be angry and, lack of a better word, bully. Try to enforce things, okay? So here, yes, I have a lot of unbiased approaches to stuff, but I'm also going to say shit when shit needs to be said, okay? So here, let's get into it.
Then I already have.
I know it's next. Fire away.
Glen Helen. When are we getting it back? As Troy Lee said, in the words of the great and powerful Troy Lee, it's our A1.
Yeah. There's so much history and water under that bridge and over it. We're not at Glen Helen because Glen Helen tore up their contract in 2010, right when I was getting started.
Okay. All right. And then Cooksey spins it. You know, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Cooksey is a good journalist. He goes out there, he finds information. Do I disagree with his delivery? Most of the time, yes. And that's what caused the problem between us. With Davey, him and I are on good terms. Yes, you said it. Him and I are on good terms. I have no reason to be disrespectful to this person. He has been nothing but kind to me. So therefore, I have no reason to have any animosity towards him. All right. Cooksey, on the other hand, we don't have a friendship anymore. Plain and simple. You guys want to know what that happens? I told you what happens. Yes, there's other stuff. Whatever. Okay. So here we go. This is no longer on Glen Helen's website under events, whatever it is. Maybe there is pressure from MX Sports for being sued for, I don't know, harassment or misrepresentation. Who knows? Whatever, right? It's businesses. It's a bummer that the information is not there, but here's the timeline. It's on Cooksey's video. So, and from what I know about negotiations is you negotiate until you get a no. And then once you get a no, that's when it actually starts. You don't go to a developer that says, hey, here's $1 million house. I want to pay $500,000 for it. And you think that you're going to get that house. No, you come to a middle ground. At the car lot, you go to buy a brand new vehicle. Okay, it's $50,000. Well, I've got $40,000 cash. Nope, but we could do 48. You come to an agreement, right? Are these fees absorbent? Yes. $100,000 paid to MX Sports, Pro Purse paid to MX Sports. Yeah, that's a lot that the track is paying for this stuff. And essentially, it looks to what Glen Helen is saying that they have an issue with is all the tickets. Okay, because $280,000 for 3,500 tickets at $80 each, that's a lot. So Glen Helen disagrees. Well, you know what? Capitalism pretty much states that, hey, if you have a business and people don't want to pay for your services, well, you don't have to give them any service. That's just plain and simple. And the thing that I have an issue with this sport at the moment is we want to bitch and moan about things being fair. Well, you know, life is not fair. We all know that growing up. And yes, is this expensive? I'm not going to lie. Absolutely, this is expensive, but I have seen other contracts from other tracks, and it's pretty darn close to this, okay? So Glen Helen didn't come to an agreement with MX Sports. End of story. They don't have a national there anymore. MX Sports owns the series. They can do what they want. If they want to all of a sudden turn it into a clown show and just have a pit bike race, sure, they could do that. But could they make money at it? No. Yes. Okay, the tracks pay a whole lot. The manufacturers pay a whole lot. The gear companies, the sponsors, they pay a whole hell of a lot. Why is MX Sports and Feld nervous about starting a union? Well, because their profit margins may go down because the inequality when it comes to riders, whatnot, can go up. But overall, I think that is a progression in the sport, and one of the reasons as to why I love World Supercross so much. It's dear to my heart because what it's doing is it's sticking a finger to the mass majority of stuff and enforcing change. There's nothing wrong with change. Usually change comes with potentially some downwards action and then growth. All right, you find out what doesn't work and it goes up. And usually the first one through the door gets trampled. Is World Supercross going to be that first one that gets through the door and ends up becoming insolvent? Well, they're sure as heck trying not to with the influx of money that they've gotten from huge hedge funds. So I hope that they succeed because it's changing. Because of what's come to fruition, the riders are getting paid more. And I'm not going to sit here and just complain about something that hasn't gone the way we would like it to. Yes, should riders ride for free? I don't know. When you have a system in place that anybody that gets their pro license can sign up and you have 90 guys or 200 guys, you know, it's different than any other sport where it's like, okay, here's the teams pay to be there. My phone is blown up with all this crap too, and I'm just somewhat disappointed in some of the vocal community in the sport that they will say that they want the sport to be better, but then they'll just complain about stuff, okay? They did not come to an agreement. Plain and simple. Glen Helen has flourished with its vet national, and they're in other things. Could there be another series that forms? Yes, there absolutely could be. And yes, if all the series gets together and say that we do not want to pay this much, well, MX Sports has the right to go find other tracks that will. And if they won't, then they will lower their prices. Supply and demand. Plain and simple. They're at a very high demand, so they can have incredibly high fees. And we do not see the breakdown of MX Sports of what they cost to put stuff on, what NBC requires to have the level of TV coverage there. Yes, those are real numbers to think about as well. It's not just a plain black and white scenario. And so for this, my unpopular opinion is that this is capitalism. Plain and simple. Okay, if you don't believe in how somebody's doing it, don't go to the races. Right? The same thing with what happened in the country that's happened the last 5 years or so. If you don't want to do business with somebody because they support somebody that you don't like, you don't give them any money. Plain and simple. You don't go to the other nationals. If you're okay with how things go, you go to the freaking national. To be fair, I've seen Glen Helen do some necessarily not the most cohesive things at their track in general. And I've seen MX Sports do some things that need to be changed. They're the series, supply and demand issue. They get to set their prices. Glen Helen can either try to negotiate or not be a part of. It's pay to play type of a deal. And unfortunately, that is the situation that we live in currently. Things can definitely change in the future. And, you know, as always, I'm open to your guys' interpretation. Give me your honest thoughts, because I understand with new information, you need to be able to adjust your opinion.